Your enemies thought they were untouchable, but they're going down. Your haters have no idea who they're messing with. My beloved child, pause right here and feel this moment, because something unseen is shifting. The people who laughed quietly, who whispered your name with doubt, who believed you were small and temporary, misread the entire story. They thought silence meant weakness. They thought patience meant fear. They thought your restraint meant surrender. But what they never understood is this: while they were watching the surface, something powerful was forming beneath it. Every delay sharpened you. Every setback refined you. Every closed door taught you how to build one yourself. Don't skip this truth: your calm was not confusion, it was preparation. And right now, the ground under their confidence is cracking, even if they're still smiling. Listen carefully, because this is where it turns. Your enemies believed they were untouchable because they measured power by noise, by numbers, by appearances. They underestimated the quiet force that moves without announcing itself. They never saw how doors began to open when they weren't looking. They never noticed how the right people started paying attention. They never sensed how your name began to carry weight in rooms you've never entered. Something huge is waiting for you on the other side of this moment. While they were busy doubting, you were becoming undeniable. And now, the same energy they used to dismiss you is the energy that will expose them. Stay till the end of this message, because what comes next is the part they cannot stop. The tables don't turn with chaos, they turn with clarity. You don't need revenge, explanations, or validation. Time is already doing the work. The truth has a way of surfacing when it's least expected, and when it does, it doesn't ask permission. Your rise will be calm, clean, and impossible to ignore. And when they finally realize who they've been messing with, it will already be too late to change the outcome. Something big is unfolding, quietly, precisely, and in your favor. Look closely at what's unfolding now, because this phase is subtle but decisive. The people who once felt untouchable are starting to feel pressure they can't explain. Small cracks are appearing in places they thought were solid. Conversations change when your name comes up. Confidence fades behind forced laughter. They sense a shift but don't yet understand its source. This is not coincidence, it's consequence. Every truth they ignored is lining up. Every shortcut they took is demanding payment. Don't skip this moment, because what you're witnessing is the beginning of exposure, not through drama, but through undeniable reality quietly stepping forward. Here's what they never calculated. Your growth did not depend on their approval. While they were busy protecting their image, you were building substance. While they played games, you learned strategy. While they relied on control, you mastered consistency. Something huge is waiting for you because momentum has already chosen its direction. The universe doesn't announce justice, it demonstrates it. Opportunities begin finding you without effort. Support appears from unexpected places. Your clarity sharpens while their confusion deepens. This is the season where truth separates the real from the artificial, and you are standing on the right side of that divide. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where your power becomes obvious. You don't need to confront, correct, or compete. Your presence alone is enough now. Silence speaks louder when it's backed by results. They will try to understand too late, replaying moments they underestimated you, wishing they had treated you differently. But growth doesn't pause for regret. What's coming toward you cannot be blocked, delayed, or taken away. It was earned in private, strengthened in pressure, and now it's stepping into the light, calm, unstoppable, and unmistakably yours. Pay attention now, because this stage is about recognition, not reaction. The people who once dismissed you are beginning to notice patterns they can't ignore. Your consistency is unsettling them. Your calm confidence disrupts their assumptions. They expected you to break, to retreat, to need their validation, but instead, you evolved. Not loudly. Not desperately. Quietly and precisely. Don't skip this realization. When growth is real, it doesn't chase attention, it attracts it. And right now, attention is drifting toward you without you asking for it. Something huge is aligning behind the scenes, and it's moving faster than they realize. This is where power shifts internally. You're no longer trying to prove anything. You don't replay old moments or wait for apologies. Your focus has sharpened, and that scares people who rely on confusion to stay ahead. While they're stuck defending old positions, you're already operating from a higher level of awareness. Something huge is waiting for you because you've outgrown the environment that once tried to limit you. New doors recognize new energy. New paths respond to new standards. Stay till the end of this message, because the next phase doesn't announce itself, it simply arrives. What they feel now is not anger toward you, but fear of irrelevance. They sense they're losing influence, control, and narrative. And the truth is, they are. Not because you attacked, but because you transcended. Your silence is no longer misunderstood, it's respected. Your patience is no longer questioned, it's admired. Momentum has shifted, and once that happens, there is no reversal. This is the moment where your story starts writing itself without resistance. The rise ahead of you is steady, undeniable, and unstoppable, and they will only understand it after it's already happened. Take a breath here, because this is the moment most people never reach. You are standing at the edge of a shift that doesn't need noise to prove itself. The same people who once felt powerful by doubting you are now quietly adjusting their behavior. Their tone has changed. Their confidence is rehearsed. Their certainty is gone. They don't say it out loud, but they feel it. You are no longer within reach. Don't skip this truth. When people sense they're losing control over you, they reveal who they really are. Something huge is waiting for you right now, and it begins with understanding that you've already outgrown the version of them that tried to define you. This is where alignment replaces struggle. You're no longer forcing outcomes or chasing recognition. Things are meeting you halfway. The right information arrives at the right time. The right connections appear without effort. What once felt blocked now feels fluid. Your enemies thought strength was domination, but they never learned the deeper law: real power is stability. While they react emotionally, you respond strategically. While they rush, you remain grounded. Stay till the end of this message, because the advantage you carry now is invisible but decisive. You are no longer playing the same game, and they haven't realized the rules have changed. Here is the final realization of this part. The downfall of your haters doesn't come through your action, but through their own imbalance. They overplayed their hand. They underestimated patience. They confused kindness for weakness and silence for surrender. Now, they're watching outcomes they can't influence, and it unsettles them deeply. Don't skip this. Your rise will feel effortless to others, but you know the truth. It was built through restraint, discipline, and inner clarity. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and it won't need an announcement. When the results speak, the noise fades. And when they finally understand who they were messing with, you'll already be too far ahead to look back. Notice the stillness around you now, because this is not emptiness, it's command. The chaos that once surrounded your name has gone quiet, and that silence is powerful. People who used to question you are watching more than they speak. They are measuring, recalculating, sensing that the balance has shifted. This is the phase where influence changes hands without confrontation. Don't skip this awareness. When noise disappears, authority appears. Something huge is waiting for you because your presence alone now changes the atmosphere. You no longer need to announce yourself. Results are already walking ahead of you. At this level, you begin to see clearly who was never meant to go with you. Their resistance was never personal, it was positional. You were rising, and they were invested in keeping things the same. But growth has its own momentum, and once it starts moving, it doesn't ask for permission. While they scramble to protect fading relevance, you're building something sustainable. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where emotional detachment becomes a strength. You're not cold, you're focused. And focus is what separates temporary wins from lasting power. Here's the truth that closes this part: the downfall of your haters will look ordinary on the surface, but profound underneath. Missed chances. Lost influence. Doors that no longer open. They won't connect it to you, but it's connected to timing, and timing chose you. Don't skip this final realization: nothing about your rise is accidental. You endured what others couldn't, learned what others ignored, and waited when others rushed. Something big is unfolding in your favor, quietly and irreversibly. And by the time the world fully sees it, you will already be standing exactly where you were meant to be. Feel the confidence settling in now, because this is earned ground. You are no longer reacting to what others do or say, you are moving from inner certainty. That shift alone changes everything. The people who once tried to provoke you are running out of ways to reach you. Their tactics don't land. Their words don't stick. They sense it, and that loss of access unsettles them deeply. Don't skip this realization: when someone can no longer disturb your peace, they have already lost their power over you. Something huge is waiting for you because your stability has become your advantage. This stage is about expansion, not defense. Your vision has widened. You're seeing opportunities where others see limits. While they stay focused on the past, you're planning from the future. Your energy is cleaner now, less emotional noise, more deliberate action. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where your momentum becomes self-sustaining. You no longer need constant motivation. Discipline carries you. Purpose directs you. And that scares those who relied on your distraction to stay ahead. Here is what seals it: your rise is no longer personal, it's positional. You're stepping into a role that requires clarity, patience, and quiet strength. The resistance you faced was never meant to stop you, it was meant to shape you. Don't skip this truth: the same pressure that tried to break you refined you. Now, while others exhaust themselves trying to control outcomes, you're aligned with timing. Something big is unfolding through you, not around you. And once that alignment locks in, nothing external can reverse what's already in motion. Observe this moment carefully, because it marks a transition few recognize while it's happening. You're no longer seeking confirmation that you're on the right path, you feel it. Decisions come with less hesitation. Doubt no longer has a loud voice. The people who once questioned you now hesitate before doing so. They sense a firmness they can't argue with. Don't skip this awareness: when conviction replaces confusion, authority naturally follows. Something huge is waiting for you because you've crossed from hoping into knowing. At this stage, your focus becomes selective. You don't give energy to everything anymore, you choose where it goes. That choice alone elevates you. While others scatter their attention, you concentrate yours, and concentration creates results. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where your influence begins to compound. Small actions now create larger outcomes. Quiet moves produce visible impact. You're no longer working harder, you're working truer to yourself, and that alignment multiplies your effort. Here's the closing truth of this part: the people who doubted you are starting to realize the gap between where they are and where you're headed. It's not loud, but it's clear. They may try to catch up, imitate, or explain away your progress, but it won't matter. Don't skip this realization: growth that's authentic cannot be copied. You built yours from the inside out. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it does, the distance between you and the past only widens. Calmly, steadily, and without apology. Stand still for a second and feel the weight of where you are now, because this is earned elevation. You've reached a point where outcomes respond to you, not the other way around. The pressure that once pushed you around no longer moves you. People notice the difference before you speak a word. Your energy arrives first. Don't skip this moment: this is the shift from potential to presence. Something huge is waiting for you because you're no longer preparing for the next level, you're already operating from it. At this level, you recognize signals others miss. You read situations faster. You sense timing more accurately. While others rush to be seen, you move with precision. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where mastery begins to show. Your restraint is strategic. Your silence is intentional. And those who once tried to outmaneuver you are now reacting to moves you haven't even revealed yet. Here's the truth that defines this stage: the power you carry now doesn't need to dominate, it stabilizes. People feel safer around you, yet they respect your boundaries. That combination is rare, and it changes dynamics instantly. Don't skip this realization: you've become someone others must account for. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it does, your haters will fade into the background, not defeated by you, but surpassed by the version of you they never believed could exist. Take this in slowly, because this is the phase where momentum becomes undeniable. You're no longer introducing yourself to opportunities, they recognize you. What once required effort now responds with ease. The resistance that tried to slow you down has lost its grip, and even those who doubted you can feel it. Don't skip this truth: when alignment is real, doors open without force. Something huge is waiting for you because your timing is now synced with your purpose. Here, your confidence is quiet but unshakable. You don't explain your vision to people who can't see it. You don't argue with doubt, you outgrow it. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where your presence begins to shift rooms. People listen differently. Conversations adjust. Your words land with weight, even when spoken calmly. That kind of influence isn't learned overnight, it's built through experience, patience, and clarity. This is the moment your past loses its hold. Old labels fall away. Old limitations dissolve. The people who tried to define you by who you were can no longer keep up with who you're becoming. Don't skip this realization: your evolution has outpaced their expectations. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it continues, your rise will feel natural to you, even if it feels shocking to everyone else watching from the outside. Notice how steady everything feels now, because this is the calm that comes before undeniable recognition. You are moving without friction, making decisions with clarity instead of urgency. The noise around you has faded, not because challenges disappeared, but because you no longer resonate with distraction. Don't skip this awareness: this is the sign of command. Something huge is waiting for you because your actions are now rooted in certainty, not reaction. At this stage, people respond to you differently. They listen more closely. They hesitate before underestimating you. Your consistency has built a reputation that speaks before you do. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where respect replaces doubt. You're no longer proving your strength, you're demonstrating it through stability, timing, and restraint. That kind of presence shifts outcomes quietly but decisively. Here's the defining truth of this part: the gap between you and those who doubted you has become unbridgeable. Not through conflict, but through growth. They're still explaining, still reacting, still trying to control perception, while you're building reality. Don't skip this realization: your rise doesn't require acknowledgement to be real. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and with each step forward, the past loses relevance, influence, and hold over your future. Feel how grounded you are now, because this grounding is strength. You're no longer pulled by urgency or pushed by fear. Your choices come from awareness, not impulse. The people who once tried to distract or delay you can sense that their influence no longer reaches you. Don't skip this realization: when inner stability is established, outer control disappears. Something huge is waiting for you because nothing external can shake what's been built internally. At this point, your focus becomes sharper, almost surgical. You invest energy only where it multiplies. You step back from what drains you without guilt. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where efficiency turns into power. While others exhaust themselves chasing attention, you're creating results that last. Your silence now communicates more than arguments ever could. This is the stage where respect follows naturally. Not because you demand it, but because you embody it. The same people who doubted you now adjust their behavior around you. Don't skip this truth. Your growth has shifted the dynamic permanently. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it continues, your position becomes clearer, stronger, and increasingly impossible to challenge. Pause and recognize this moment, because it carries quiet authority. You've reached a level where you don't rush to be understood. You trust your timing. You trust your process. The urgency that once pressured you has dissolved into calm intention. Don't skip this awareness. This is what it feels like when you're no longer chasing outcomes, but attracting them. Something huge is waiting for you because your presence now sets the tone before you say a word. At this stage, your discernment is refined. You instantly recognize what aligns and what doesn't. You don't entertain distractions disguised as opportunities. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where clarity becomes a shield. While others are overwhelmed by choices, you move forward with precision. Every step is deliberate. Every decision compounds your advantage. Here is the truth that defines this part: your growth has outpaced the expectations placed on you. The people who once tried to predict your limits can no longer keep track of your direction. Don't skip this realization. Your evolution has created distance that can't be closed. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it continues, your path becomes simpler, stronger, and unmistakably your own. Notice how naturally things are lining up now, because this is alignment in motion. You're not forcing progress anymore, it's unfolding as a result of who you've become. The resistance that once slowed you has turned into momentum. People who doubted you are now watching quietly, trying to understand the shift. Don't skip this truth: when growth is genuine, it becomes visible without explanation. Something huge is waiting for you because your direction is finally undeniable. At this level, your confidence no longer needs reinforcement. You trust your judgment. You act without second-guessing. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where leadership begins to show itself. Others start to mirror your calm, follow your pace, and respect your boundaries. Your influence isn't loud. It's steady, and that steadiness changes everything. Here's the closing realization of this part: the chapter where others tried to define you is ending. Their opinions no longer shape your movement. Don't skip this awareness: freedom arrives when validation is no longer required. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it does, your future opens wider than anything you once imagined, built on clarity, purpose, and quiet strength. Take in how clear everything feels now, because clarity is power. You're no longer questioning your worth or your direction. The noise that once surrounded you has lost its pull, and what remains is focus. People sense the difference when they're around you. Conversations change. Energy shifts. Don't skip this realization: when certainty settles in, doubt has nowhere to attach. Something huge is waiting for you because your foundation is finally unshakable. At this stage, you move with intention, not urgency. You understand that timing matters more than speed. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where patience reveals its reward. While others rush and stumble, you step forward with precision. Your choices are cleaner now, free from fear or comparison, and that makes them powerful. Here is the defining truth of this part: you've stepped beyond the reach of those who once underestimated you. Not through conflict, but through consistency. They can no longer influence your path or rewrite your story. Don't skip this awareness. Your growth has created a new level of independence. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it continues, your presence becomes a steady force that others recognize, respect, and cannot ignore. Feel the confidence that no longer needs reassurance, because this is earned certainty. You're not waiting for signs anymore. You recognize them as they appear. The path ahead feels open, not because it's easy, but because you're ready. The people who once tried to slow you down can sense that you've moved beyond their reach. Don't skip this truth: when readiness meets opportunity, progress becomes inevitable. Something huge is waiting for you because you're finally aligned with what you can handle. At this level, your presence speaks louder than your plans. You don't over-explain. You don't overshare. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where restraint becomes influence. While others seek attention, you command respect through consistency. Your actions are measured, your words intentional, and that balance places you ahead without effort. Here's the realization that defines this part: the version of you that struggled to be seen is gone. In its place stands someone grounded, focused, and unmovable. Don't skip this awareness. Growth doesn't always announce itself, but it always leaves evidence. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it continues, your rise becomes steady, unmistakable, and impossible to reverse. Recognize the depth of where you stand now, because this is no longer surface-level progress, this is transformation. You didn't just move forward, you moved inward and rebuilt yourself. The strength you carry now was forged in moments no one saw, in decisions that required discipline when quitting would have been easier. The people who once assumed you would fade out are now confused by your consistency. They don't understand how you kept going without applause. Don't skip this truth: real power is developed in isolation. Something huge is waiting for you because you learned how to stand firm even when no one was clapping. At this stage, your awareness has expanded. You see intentions clearly. You notice patterns instantly. You no longer fall for distractions wrapped in urgency or pressure. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where wisdom becomes leverage. While others react emotionally, you respond with insight. While they rush for quick wins, you build long-term outcomes. Your patience is no longer passive, it's strategic. And that strategy is placing you steps ahead without creating resistance or conflict. Here is the deeper realization of this part: the people who once doubted you are now facing their own limitations. Not because you confronted them, but because your growth highlighted what they refused to develop. Don't skip this awareness: you were never meant to fight them, only to outgrow them. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and it's happening because you stayed disciplined when it was hard, focused when it was lonely, and calm when chaos tried to pull you in. This version of you is not accidental, it is inevitable. Step into this moment with awareness, because this is where elevation becomes visible. You are no longer moving in silence alone, results are beginning to echo. People who once overlooked you are now paying attention, not out of admiration, but curiosity mixed with disbelief. They can't figure out how you reached this level without shortcuts or noise. Don't skip this realization. When growth is authentic, it confuses those who relied on appearance over substance. Something huge is waiting for you because your progress is now speaking in places you've never been. At this stage, your confidence is rooted in experience, not hope. You've seen enough proof to trust yourself fully. Doubt no longer negotiates with you. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where authority locks in. You no longer chase approval or explanations. You let outcomes speak. While others are still reacting to circumstances, you are directing your energy with intention. That difference creates distance, and distance creates leadership. Here is the truth that defines this part: your rise has reached a point where it no longer needs protection. It is self-sustaining now. The same people who questioned your journey are now adjusting to your presence. Don't skip this awareness. You've crossed into a level where influence follows you naturally. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it continues, your position becomes clearer, stronger, and beyond the reach of anyone who once tried to hold you back. Allow yourself to fully arrive in this moment, because what you're experiencing now is the result of endurance, not luck. You didn't get here by accident. You passed through doubt, isolation, misunderstanding, and long stretches where nothing seemed to move. Yet you kept showing up with integrity. You kept choosing growth when it would have been easier to shrink. The people who once underestimated you never imagined you would develop this level of composure and strength. Don't skip this truth. Your steadiness unsettles those who relied on chaos to feel powerful. Something huge is waiting for you because you learned how to remain centered while everything around you tested your resolve. Now notice how your inner world has changed. You no longer feel rushed to explain yourself or defend your path. Your confidence doesn't spike and crash, it stays consistent. You understand that timing is not something you chase, it's something you align with. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where your patience begins to reward you openly. While others are exhausted from constant reaction, you're energized by clarity. You make fewer moves, but each one carries weight. You've learned that restraint, when combined with vision, creates unstoppable momentum. Here is the deeper layer most people will never see: your growth has quietly rewritten the power dynamic. The same individuals who once felt secure in dismissing you are now uncertain of their own footing. Not because you challenged them, but because your evolution exposed the gap between intention and action. Don't skip this realization: you were never meant to compete in their arena. You were meant to rise beyond it. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and it's happening because you chose consistency over comfort, discipline over drama, and clarity over noise. This level you've reached isn't temporary, it's the foundation for everything that comes next. Take notice of the ease that surrounds you now, because ease is a sign of alignment, not complacency. What once required effort now flows with intention. You're no longer fighting currents, you're moving with them. The people who once tried to resist your progress are sensing the distance grow, and that realization is unsettling for them. Don't skip this awareness, when resistance fades, momentum accelerates. Something huge is waiting for you because your actions are now supported by timing instead of challenged by it. At this stage, your presence alone creates impact. You don't need to announce your plans or justify your direction. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where influence becomes natural. Others begin to adapt to your pace. Decisions around you shift. Your calm introduces order where confusion once lived. That kind of leadership cannot be taught, it's earned through experience and restraint. Here is the defining truth of this part: your journey has entered a phase where growth compounds quietly. Each step strengthens the next. The people who doubted you may never admit it, but they recognize the shift. Don't skip this realization: you've moved beyond the need for acknowledgement. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it continues, your path becomes clearer, stronger, and increasingly unstoppable. Hold this awareness carefully, because this is where everything you built begins to stand on its own. You are no longer pushing forward. You are being carried by the structure you created through discipline, patience, and self-trust. The resistance that once surrounded you has thinned, not because challenges vanished, but because you rose above their reach. Don't skip this truth: when your foundation is strong, pressure no longer threatens it. Something huge is waiting for you because you've proven you can hold what's coming. At this point, your confidence is calm and deliberate. You don't rush to prove anything. You allow outcomes to speak while you stay focused on execution. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where authority becomes effortless. People adjust to your standards without you demanding it. Your consistency has trained the environment around you. That kind of influence is rare, and it lasts. Here is the realization that anchors this part: your rise is no longer questioned, it's acknowledged. Even by those who once doubted you. Don't skip this awareness. What you endured refined you. What you built sustains you. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and as it continues, your position becomes not just strong, but permanent, rooted in clarity, stability, and quiet power. Stand fully in this moment, because this is where certainty becomes permanent. You are no longer wondering if you're on the right path, you know. The hesitation that once slowed you has dissolved into quiet assurance. The people who tried to question your direction no longer have the access they once did. Their opinions feel distant, almost irrelevant. Don't skip this realization: when inner conviction locks in, external doubt loses its voice. Something huge is waiting for you because you are no longer becoming, you have arrived. At this level, your movement is intentional and precise. You don't waste energy proving points or correcting misunderstandings. You let time and results do that work for you. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where mastery shows itself. While others are still reacting emotionally to circumstances, you're operating from vision. Your calm unsettles those who rely on chaos. Your focus exposes those who lack direction. And without confrontation, the hierarchy shifts naturally in your favor. Here is the truth that closes this part: your enemies didn't lose because you fought them, they lost because you outgrew the battlefield entirely. Don't skip this awareness: you were never meant to stay where they could reach you. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and it's unfolding from a place of stability, wisdom, and earned authority. From here forward, your progress doesn't need defense. It moves forward on its own, steady, undeniable, and far beyond the reach of anyone who once thought you were easy to stop. Take this moment in completely, because this is the phase of confirmation. Everything you sensed before, every quiet feeling that told you to keep going, has now aligned into proof. You can see the results. You can feel the shift. What once felt uncertain now feels established. The people who thought they were untouchable are no longer confident, they are cautious. Don't skip this truth. When outcomes become visible, denial fades. Something huge is waiting for you because your journey has crossed from promise into reality. At this level, your energy speaks before you do. You don't need to assert dominance or demand recognition. Your consistency has already done that work. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where respect becomes automatic. Others adjust their tone around you. They listen more carefully. They hesitate before crossing boundaries they once ignored. This is not fear, it's acknowledgement. Your presence has weight now, and weight changes dynamics without effort. Here is the final realization of this part. What you've built cannot be undone by opinions, resistance, or doubt. It's rooted too deeply. Don't skip this awareness, you are standing in earned position. Something big is unfolding in your favor, and from here forward, your rise no longer needs momentum to begin. It already has it. What comes next will not surprise you, but it will surprise everyone who never believed you would reach this level. Now receive this moment fully, because this is the closing of one chapter and the beginning of another. You are no longer defined by what you survived, but by what you now command. The struggle that once shaped you has completed its work. The people who thought they were untouchable are facing the quiet truth. They underestimated the one person who refused to break. Don't skip this realization. When preparation meets timing, destiny moves without resistance. Something huge has been waiting for you, and you have finally stepped into the space that was always yours. At this final stage, there is no need for validation, no need for explanations, no need for comparison. You walk with certainty because you earned it. You stand with calm because you learned patience. Stay till the end of this message, because this is the truth that seals everything. Your rise was never about proving others wrong, it was about proving yourself right. While others remain stuck replaying old narratives, you are writing new outcomes in real time. Here is the lasting truth you carry forward. Those who doubted you will remember this shift, even if they never speak of it. Your growth has moved beyond competition, beyond resistance, beyond reach. Don't skip this final awareness. Your future is no longer something you chase, it's something that responds to you. What unfolds next will be steady, undeniable, and aligned with who you've become. This is not the end of your story. This is the moment your real influence begins.